Welcome to this episode of Reach Minds, Thoughts for Your Life Journey. Today, we're diving into what it really means to build a diverse and meaningful career. One that brings us not just success, but fulfillment and purpose. My guest is someone who made that shift. Instead of letting others dictate what he should do, he began asking himself the deeper questions and took ownership of his own career path. By managing his career intentionally, he crafted a life that reflects his values, passions, and vision for the future. Welcome, Ian.
Nice to meet you, Nita. It's great to be here, and thank you for the invite.
Just in terms of your career spanning over 25 years, tell us a little bit about, Ian, what you've done in terms of the roles that you've had before we dig into what's guided your career decisions.
I'm a trained engineer. I started off designing chips as a living because that was really the only thing that I could do when I left school, and I went to university and studied that. Then went into Intel, and they thought that I could talk a lot, so I ended up working in sales and marketing. I was lucky enough to move to the Valley for a number of years. Then in Asia, got some senior positions, and then got some senior positions in Russia before I moved to Arm, where I ended up in the C-suite and helping change industries. Having left there, got a bit bored, founded two or three companies, sold two or three companies, joined a charity. I've had a really interesting and exciting career. I'm very proud of it.
Yeah, I can see that as well, how proud you are of your career. Now, one of the things I'm quite interested in, what you were saying when we were thinking about pulling this together, is that you're committed yourself to creating between 1 to 3,000 jobs in the UK. Tell me a little bit about that.
If you look at where the UK is, we're very good at doing research and development. We're not very good at scaling companies. And so I've been lucky enough to be in companies that scale and been around the world and see how this works. And so when I left Arm, I set myself a challenge of how to go and scale and put 1 to 3,000 proper jobs. And when we were discussing before, I talked about how we got to that and how I got to that conclusion. So when you've been successful in your life and all of a sudden you come to a transition and figure out what you want to go do, it's really hard. And a lot of people know what no is, but it's really hard to find what yes is. And I struggled with that, and I had to spend 9 months not doing anything on gardening leave. And I looked at myself and said, what challenges do you want to set yourself? So I did a very unusual thing as an engineer. I looked at my career as an engineering project, and I did the current state. So I wrote everything down about family and life and my CV. And then I thought, how do I achieve what I want to achieve? And the only real way of looking at that in my mind was looking at the end state. So I imagined myself dying at 83 in a number of years' time and having my obituary read by my best friend over my coffee. And I thought, what would I like in my obituary? And so I wrote my obituary as if I died when I was 83 years old. And then I did a gap analysis as a typical engineer, what I've currently done versus what's in my obituary. And so 3 things came up, one of which was stay married to my wife, which was a very difficult conversation to have about what her goals and aspirations were. And that was very insightful. The second one was raise £1 million for the ovarian charity